everyone. My name is Emily Perry, and I'm representing the 2012 Corps. I'm standing here because I'm going to talk about commitment. As Corps members, this might be our biggest challenge. It's something I've definitely struggled with. Initially, I committed to TFA SLA by chance. I didn't assign any placement preferences on my application and thought I would end up where I was needed. It didn't matter where. I just wanted a new adventure. I'd never been to Louisiana before, and I packed up my little red hatchback 4 days after graduation and headed south over 1,000 miles. My first class on my first day of teaching was a group of 30 rowdy 10th graders. I was really scared, to be honest. I did not know what to do, but just kind of stood there and went through my icebreaker activities and get to know you games the best way I could. They were really eager for me to get to know them, and they were sweet to me, but it was still scary. The next period was a planning period for me, and believe me, I needed it. The rest of the day is a blur now, but I do remember my fellow Corps members when I saw them that afternoon. I think we were all kind of shell-shocked. But we came back day after day, constantly reflecting on how to improve, changing our approaches, trying to present the material in a more student-friendly way, getting to know our students both inside and outside of the classroom, finding out what they really knew, and how to give them what they needed. And there was lots of complaining too. Don't forget about the complaining. We all know it helps, so we shouldn't feel guilty when we do it. As first-year Corps members at Capitol High School, we were committed to making it work in this crazy place, and I will assure you, it was crazy at times. I was able to make a commitment to my students largely because of the fact that I was surrounded by Corps members willing to do the same. The commitment made by teachers at Capitol High School, my fellow Corps members specifically, made my personal commitment easier. Together, we created a culture of high academic and behavioral expectations in our classrooms, and it was not something I could have done alone. I don't feel comfortable speaking about my own commitment without speaking about the commitment my colleagues have made and are continuing to make. Holly and Ari. I see Ari, but I don't see Holly. Two first years who between the two of them have taken 2 days off the entire year, maybe one, and that was yesterday. These two first years exemplify commitment. I asked one of my students about Holly early on in the school year. Her name is Jashay, and she told me, "I've fallen in love with Miss Holly. I would do anything for her." Holly's calm and nurturing nature has won so many of her students over, and she has the test scores to back it up. And Ari, who has possibly had more impact on Capitol High School than anyone else ever. He has been responsible for 15 seniors' postgraduate plans, 13 of which include attendance at four-year universities, whereas last year I think it was less than 10, a lot less than 10. And within the year, possibly 10 more will be added to the list, which are posted beautifully outside of his room, of course. I cannot be more thrilled to work with you another year, hopefully more. Damon, my fellow second year. He's on his way to teach at Collegiate Academy in New Orleans. I am so blown away whenever I hear about the extremely high expectations he has and has always had for his students at Capitol High. He's never afraid to stand up for what's right, even when it's difficult or unpopular. Conversations with Damon about teaching are always so humbling, and I really encourage any one of you to hear some of the things he has to say. Damon has committed himself to education for the rest of his life, and I'm honored to have worked with him. Stephen, he's a thinker with so many great ideas about improving education, some more radical and hilarious than others, but always logical and entertaining. As a teacher, he connects with the students' interests and culture more than anyone else I've ever met. One day, he's comparing Lil Wayne's song Lollipop to foreign policy in Kenya. The next, he's showing them a Dave Chappelle skit where Dave keeps it real in a professional setting, paired with a lesson for students to learn to control their impulses in the classroom. In other words, not keep it real. He might claim he doesn't like children, but he connects with them in a very important way. He's on to do great things, hopefully in education technology, and is continuing to improve children's access to equal and improved education in his future. Caitlin, where are you? There really aren't words to describe Caitlin's style. You can feel it, you can almost see it, but it's something you can only explain by seeing her in action. She leaves lasting impressions on everyone she meets because she puts so much passion into everything she does and says. Her classroom is so driven, focused, and urgent. Also, her results are unbelievable. She instills a desire to learn in her students in an indescribable way. You'll just have to visit her classroom next year in Colorado Springs. Capital is losing a great teacher, but her commitment to her family and teaching are bringing her there, and I'm so happy for her. I also know a large part of her wants to stay, and I hope one day you might come back. Antoinette and Lisa, my two best friends here, who have made a huge impact on my commitment. Both incredibly amazing and dedicated teachers who have committed to KIPP schools in New Orleans. Obviously, I am so sad to be losing them, but happy they're staying in the state. Antoinette has such a passion for kids and is so vocal about what's best for them. She also advocates for her colleagues, both in TFA and her school in Donaldsonville, and speaks up when other people don't want to. Lisa has such a bubbly energy, and her passion for pre-K education is real. I have visited her classroom and asked her students about their goals. While running around the playground, they told me how ready they feel for kindergarten and how excited they are for just a few years down the road, college. She is on her way to changing how the U.S. values early childhood education. I could literally go on and on. Every second year, I've had the honor to get to know Asia, Lauren, Justin, Aaron, Tom, Will, Tracy, Maggie, Dilshawn, Lacey, Amber, Christina, Ricky, Hannah, Madison, Catherine, Martin, Jared, Melody, Jocelyn, Molly, Daniel, Santina, Lindsay, the Rachels, Rebecca, EJ, Heather, Lydia, Brianna, Christian, Katie, Ginny, Malin, the Sarahs, Kelly, Courtney, Evelyn, and Kyle. I could talk about all the amazing things I know have happened and are happening in all of your classrooms. The impact you've all had on your students, the ways you've helped me, or even just funny stories of hanging out. I could talk about all of you. These people have committed to SLA for the past 2 years of their lives. Whether they plan on staying or going, they've all been a part of my commitment to this place. To ask about my commitment is to ask about the people who have made it possible. Even though some may be leaving, I would not be staying here were it not for them and having been part of this movement together. I'm going to be part of a charter school coming in called Friendship. I haven't formally been offered a job yet, but I think that's what's going to happen. I am excited about the opportunity and sad that most of my fellow corps members won't be with me, but believe me when I say, without our shared experiences, I wouldn't be continuing commitment to Capital. I'm staying and teaching because it's something I love. I have a mission to get all students in North Baton Rouge reading on grade level, and I think this place has a lot of potential for change. I want to be a part of it. Like I've been saying, though, without the corps members I've been around for the past 2 years, I probably would not have that attitude. Thank you for everything you have taught me. I love you guys. Finally, this doesn't necessarily have to do with commitment, but it's some advice that I was really thankful for and wanted to share it while I had everyone's ears. This advice was given to me last summer by a now third year Brendan O'Kelly. Where are you, Brendan? You can hear me. Okay. Okay. Make a photo album of the students that you teach. All of these photos with students. Keep them safe. Thank you, first years, for the commitment you have made to come and work despite the challenges, and thank you, second years, for the commitment you've made these past 2 years, and for many of you, the commitment you will make for the rest of your lives to children and to education. Thank you.